remember the review I did for this game? Well, since then they've made some big changes and added some new modes, maps, characters, and heroes. And with the game being cheaper and even free at one point, I figured now was a good time for me to go back and revisit this game like I said I would, after missing every good chance to do so. So I'm giving this game another opportunity, despite the fact that I look very poorly on the Star Wars franchise at the moment. Back then there were things I enjoyed about this title, mainly Starfighter Assault, and with a huge improvement that fixed a big issue with the game, and the updates that brought free content, well, it was time to play Battlefront 2 EA again, and see if it learned its lesson in my first revisit. What's the difference between this and a redo review? I won't have to spend 5 to 10 minutes going over everything again, plus I just want to focus on the stuff that was added, or at least the ones that I spent the most time with. Let's get to the biggest improvement first, the leveling up system. It actually makes sense now, and doesn't feel anywhere near as grind-happy as before. I went back to look at the review I did and thought, holy crap, I used to understand what that meant. Now instead of using crafting parts to level up a character and power up a card, even if you didn't want to, it's separated in a way that works. You still have to level up practically everything in the game, but each time you level up by either doing damage, playing the objective, etc., you get a skill point. The skill point can then be used to unlock or level up the cards those characters or vehicles have. However, some cards can only be unlocked by reaching a certain level, and even the ones you have unlocked can't go any higher until you've reached a certain level as well. I'm okay with this because even if I don't want to level up a card, you can hold onto the skill points for another card later on. 11 skill points? I can't wait to waste them on cards I don't care about! And for those who played this game before the updated grinding took place, don't worry. You keep everything you've unlocked, and your level is adjusted accordingly. Some modes are great for leveling up characters, while others are just sort of a fun time waster. Which is the best moment to bring up the 2 modes they added? If they added more, I didn't notice. I'll go over Ewok Hunt first because it's the shorter one. Here you play as a stormtrooper on the night after the Battle of Endor, trying to hold out until you get rescued. But 2 players randomly start as Ewoks who are hunting down the stormtroopers, and if they kill one, they become Ewoks. So it's either kill all the stormtroopers or survive the night. Yep, it's like zombies. Zombie Ewoks. I can't believe I could be terrified of a teddy bear, but you can't see very well and only have a blaster and a flashlight that has a limit, versus a growing army that can see in the dark. Well, it's not that terrifying. It's kind of a fun fear. It's like you want to be afraid, but you're not really, and then they throw those sprites at you and you start panicking! It's a nice change of pace from the other modes, but I consider it as more of a fun break than something I'll be spending my time with. Speaking of... Intergalactic Tug-of-War returns in Supremacy! 5 capture points. Try to have more of them than the other team so the percentage can reach 100% and win! That's how it goes for the original trilogy. The other 2 eras have something else to them. If you reach 100%, you then need to board some transport ships to get some extra time for the next part. Now you'll fly into the enemy's capital ship, stand in spots A or B, then destroy the targets of the ship within the time limit. If you succeed, then... yeah, you win! But if you run out of time, then it's back to the ground battle. This goes on until a team has successfully destroyed a capital ship. Oh, and if you were doing really well but failed, don't worry, it doesn't reset, so if you return to the capital ship, it's pretty much where you left off. Likewise, any battle points you had will also be transferred over, and it feels like the percentage rate goes faster than before, but that could just be my imagination. And if this feels like it's taking too long, then you can quit the match and any level ups you got stay with you.
What do you get if you win a match?
You're supposed to get something? The matches can feel like they go on for so long that you start to have the temptation of letting the other team win. But quitting is for losers, and if I'm going down, I'm taking as many of them with me! Even if the match goes on for basically 5 rounds and finally ends, you get to see your rank progress nearly skyrocket. I have to say, I don't understand the point of a rank up in general. I haven't seen it do anything for me except give me a small credit boost, and once you reach rank 50, it loses all meaning. You don't even get a loot crate. They're still in the game, but for the most part, it's just when you've unlocked a new weapon or an attachment to a weapon. If you want some new skins, emotes, voice lines, and victory poses, then you'll have to buy them with the credits and crystals you earn in the game. You can use real money to buy more crystals, but I'd rather waste my money on something else. I said there were new maps, classes, and characters, so let's go over them. Or at least the ones I've noticed. I feel the prequel trilogy seemed to have gotten the most in terms of new maps and heroes, and that's just fine with me, as I actually like the prequels for numerous reasons. They were flawed, obviously, but they had purpose, told a story, and had wonderful moments, planets, and characters. And here's one of them, General Grievous. I was disappointed with him in Revenge of the Sith, hated him in the Clone Wars, but loved the Genndy Tartakovsky one. I get such a joy running over enemies by crawling like a spider. He does the whole lightsaber buzzsaw thing, and when he locks onto an enemy, you better hide behind a wall. Here's what I mean by that. Dooku was also added with the ability to weaken enemies, strengthen his lightsaber damage, and Sith lightning. But if I have to pick between the two, spinny spinny. The heroes finally got Obi-Wan and Anakin, and both are a treat to play as. Obi-Wan can dash in opponents while blocking their shots, confuse opponents, and has a charged force push, which you better get out of the way of. And Anakin is truly terrifying in the right hands. That's all I really need to say. The footage will do the talking for me. As for maps in this era, we got 2 of them, Felucia and Geonosis. Well, at least I got Felucia. I still would have loved to have seen Mustafar and Coruscant in HD, but for what we have, I'll go over that later. I really don't think the original trilogy got anything new besides maybe the Scarif map, but then again it already had practically everything it needed, besides Dagobah. I've actually spent very little time in the OT era recently, because I just wanted to level up the new heroes we got in the PT era. The other one got a new map from Episode 9, and I refuse to spend brain cells learning what its name is. The Kessel map from Solo a Star Wars flop, and the heroes they got were... Wow, are you kidding me? We got Soccer Ball and Evil Soccer Ball? I would have been mad at them for being playable before R2-D2, but it's so ridiculous that I can't help but chuckle a little. This ball just killed the Emperor. Everyone should be scared and running for their lives! As for the classes, we have the infiltrators like the ARC Troopers and Commando Droids. The CDs are great at getting away, hunting down their enemies, and finishing them off with melee kills, whereas the ATs can dual-wield, can set up a nice little trap, and have a little extra punch. Also, both of them have scanners to show where their targets are. Commando Troopers, oh boy, now that's some extra firepower, and they can even repel enemies as if they were using Force Push. Droidicas were finally added, and they can be annoying to deal with because of their speed and shields, but tricky to learn how to properly use at first. There are others, but I'm no expert on them. I'll let you discover the rest on your own. So, problems. We knew they were coming. You see, the game isn't all that smooth. Some places and modes are, specifically the ones that have fewer players in them, and the older maps like Kamino and Naboo. Geonosis isn't all that bad until you get behind the controls of a vehicle. Oh, please, no more! Felucia, on the other hand, well, just kind of expect something laggy to always happen here. I'm not joking. Look, I love the details and everything here, but I'd rather you remove some of this stuff so it runs a little bit steadier. So yeah, it somewhat gets a bit unstable. In fact, that freezing thing has happened to me again 6 times in the month I've gone back to revisit this game. I wish the online was smoother, but for what it is, I can still enjoy it, and at least Starfighter Assault still runs smoothly. Look at me pull this off and ask why I enjoy this, I dare you! Yeah, it can take a while to level up the heroes, but all you really have to do is play a few rounds of heroes versus villains, and you should get a strong start. HVV was changed from defend and attack the target to just being a free-for-all. I don't remember if there was a hero showdown that only had 2 players on each team, and I'll never play this mode again! Grinding in HVV for the heroes is still a better option because it can feel like everyone just stays in the menu waiting for them to be playable in the other modes. I say, ooh, I can be a hero? And the game says, in your dreams, loser! How can they do this? It's outrageous, it's unfair, and I am not going to take a seat! There are times where I died, but I still had enough to play as the hero again, but someone somehow already got it the moment I died! Usually, there's a countdown. Likewise, there are times where I've been able to play as the hero 3 times in a row. Why is there never a balance in the Force? And here's a quick tip. If you're a hero in Supremacy and the battle is changing from either going to the capital ship or back to the ground, you better be quick on the select, or someone will take them without remorse. And the heroes can regenerate most of their health over time, making it difficult for them to die, thus making it difficult for everyone to have their turn. Sad thing is, it's still way better than those who had spawn camped the hero power-up from the first one EA did. Honestly, the best way I could see them fixing this to make it fair for everyone is kind of what they did with the original BF2 by making them playable for a limited time, and then maybe not allowing the player to play as them again for, say, about 30 seconds to a minute before they even have a chance to be a hero again. unless they die within 5 seconds of spawning, in which case, free pass. And now for something a bit unusual. The game doesn't just have online framerate issues, it has more glitches than I've ever noticed. Some of them make me laugh, some kind of annoy me, and others make me want to force choke someone. Let's take a look. Don't you just love seeing textures pop up during the cutscenes? It doesn't get old. Why does it keep taking away my aiming reticle? Do you want me to lose? I leveled up, but the game must be too shy to tell me. I guess it's too shy to show me my stats at the end of the match as well. Is Obi-Wan cosplaying as Rayman? Never thought I'd see that. When did I become the blind guy from Rogue One? Guess I'll just respawn. Why won't it let me level up a card when I'm at the exact level needed to? Don't worry, it fixed itself the next time I saw it.
Error, error. I don't know what dying is.
Me neither. I can't get back to my post.
Ooh, 200 points for the ARC Trooper instead of 2,000? That event must be in effect. Where'd you learn how to count? To be fair, this isn't the only game to do this to me on the PS4. As I was saying, don't expect a smooth ride, at least for some of the modes. And after all the updates the game has had, it could take roughly around 115 gigabytes to install. That is little over a fifth of the amount of memory space my system has. Best to keep that in mind. The game has more stuff than before, the grind has been fixed, and there are fun classes to play around with. But the performance has taken a hit on some maps, especially Felucia, and I can't help but wonder what strange glitch will happen to me next. Hopefully a funny one. And yet, my biggest reason for playing this is because I don't take it that seriously and can just have fun with it. Without the pressure of getting something or losing something at the end of a match, there's no reason to care about winning or losing. I know it sounds like, why should you even bother, but when I have moments I can enjoy like this, why should I care? I'm having fun! I play this as the FPS game I need to play to get away from a stressful Overwatch. God, why did you ruin my poop, Marissa? Oh! This just feels so relaxing. Almost therapeutic. Even if you weren't able to pick this game up for free on the PS Plus because my video came out way too late, I know, I'm sorry! I rewrote the script too many times, I had to correct myself on some information that I got wrong, and I got caught up in the double and triple experience events that happen almost every other day, to the point that I leveled up all the 4 main classes cards. What was I saying? Oh right, the cost. It's usually being sold for a cheap price, and on sale almost every week. I am happy to say, BattleFront 2 EA has learned from its mistakes. Well, a number of them. It has nowhere near as many heroes, maps, and doesn't have galactic chests like the original, but if it did, then chances are you'd have to buy an external hard drive just to play the game. You did well, EA. I can't believe I said that, but credit where credit is due. Just try to iron out those glitches and performance issues, okay? Especially Felucia. Either fix this place or ban this place. A 4 out of 5. A couple of flaws, but overall a good game. Here's a tip. Start a match as an officer and give a command boost to the large number of players around you. Then focus on taking the points instead of blasting enemies unless you have to. And by doing this, you could easily earn enough battle points to play as a hero within your first life. There are plenty of good fan service moments, such as the character saying some familiar lines from the movies. If you're on Geonosis as Anakin, you might just hear his thoughts about sand. I'm actually kind of surprised that they did this, but they actually improved the loading screen times. Starting up the game still takes a while, but going back to the main menu after finishing an online match is about half as long as it used to be. It's still about 30 seconds, but still, that's quite impressive. For those that are joining the battle for the first time, you'll have to let me know if the new heroes cost credits, because I had the Celebration Edition for already owning the game, and all the new characters were unlocked. But I thought I remembered it cost quite a number of credits to unlock them when they first showed up. I just want to know if I'm remembering that correctly or not. You could also farm points by camping the enemy CPU spawn points. I won't deny it's a lot, but you're also not really helping the team here.
Who cares? You're having fun, remember?
Yeah, good point.